Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 5 team builder versus Ace Trainer Josh and the Texas Turtwigs. Currently, unfortunately, we are 1-3 after a devastating loss to Johnny last week. Josh is on a pretty good run. He's 3-1 right now, I believe. And as far as the playoff race goes, this match isn't as important because this one is an out-of-division match. So myself and Josh are fighting for different playoff spots. So as far as that goes, it's it's not as important for that. But what is important is for me to slowly climb back to 500 because I basically need to win out to pretty much make playoffs. It's the only way I can guarantee myself in. And Josh's team was very scary to prep for, so why don't we just go over his team right now. He got the Mega Mawile, Latias, Shaman, Heatran, Slowking, Piloswine, Alolan Ninetales, Garbodor, Alolan Persian, Shuckle, and Manectric. His only Z user as of right now is Latias. And obviously, the biggest threat that you can see is, without a doubt, the Mega Mawile. Checking that thing defensively is nigh impossible. In this match, it's actually not its stabs, as I have 3 Pokemon that resist its stab combination. It's just the coverage it gets is way too good. And basically makes it impossible to truly defensive check except for probably pure fire types, and my fire type is not defensive in the slightest. So we're going to have to go about checking that offensively. What a surprise. I still think it's the best way to check it in general. Next up, he has the Latias. So this was a new addition that he made during the transaction period because he had Salamence, and the way the draft went, he drafted Salamence when Latias was still on the board. So I'm pretty sure he just picked up Salamence specifically for this matchup to try to be an answer to Landorus. I'm almost sure of it, but who knows? I saw a couple mocks where it came, I saw a couple mocks where it didn't come, I saw some mocks where it came and it wasn't defensive at all, so who knows what he's going to do with that thing. Past that... Remember in week 1 when Donphan was a big issue for my team because of the ground ice coverage it gets? Well, now I have to play against a Piloswine, which makes it even more of an issue because its Ice Shard now has Stab, and it also gets Icicle Crash instead of just Ice Shard. So Piloswine definitely going to come, especially considering my team has a Mega Manectric on it. His Manectric I don't think is going to be that big of a deal, as it's pretty easily revenge kill and doesn't hit that hard. And then Shaman gets good coverage, Slowking is bulky as hell. Heatran's on the fence just because of a lot of the ground coverage that a lot of my Pokemon can get. Persian I don't really see coming, Garbodor I don't really see coming, and the Shuckle, which is kind of if it does come, it means shenanigans basically. Or at least entry hazard shenanigans, so I definitely have to watch out for that. And then the Ninetales, I mean, I saw it in one mock. I think it's better suited in an offensive role this match. I've seen it with Aurora Veil support. Who knows what it could be. But yeah, definitely biggest threats on Josh's team. The Mawile, probably the Shaman next, and then Latias Piloswine is probably in that order. I have no idea what he could bring because I played in multiple mocks and a lot of the mocks were very different. So, yeah, let's go over the team I'm going to bring to try to counter whatever the hell Josh wants to bring. First off, we have Uxie, physically defensive with 12 in speed, knockoff Giga Drain, U-Turn, and Thunder Wave. This is meant to be my first switch in to the Piloswine if he brings it. Knockoff to get rid of the Eviolite. Giga Drain actually does a surprising amount, even if he still has Eviolite and is only max HP. I think it does a minimum of 20, and then plus I can regain whatever damage he does to me back. U-Turn for Momentum. Thunder Wave if he brings in Mawile, and this Mawile cannot outspeed, even if it's max speed Jolly, cannot outspeed no speed Uxie. So I'm going to be able to get a Thunder Wave off of it if he tries to set up a substitute, so at least I can count on some para shenanigans. But yeah, there's not too much to say about this Uxie set. It's very utility heavy for specific Pokemon. This might also have to be a Slowking answer if he brings Fizz Def Colbur Berry. I did see that in one of my mocks. Giga Drain's gonna have to be able to pull the load on that. But yeah, so again, pretty straightforward, but I believe it's necessary for this match. Next up, we have Weavile. One of the reasons that he needs a Scarfer, definitely. Knock off Icicle Crash, Low Kick, Poison Jab with Life Orb. Low Kick is specifically here for Heatran, because otherwise I really wouldn't need it. I guess it's also here for the Mawile, because I guess this actually doesn't do too much to the Mawile, only because Mawile's not that heavy, so Low Kick doesn't do too much. This is mostly just for like pretty much everything else on Josh's team, because like past the Mawile and like the Heatran with Low Kick coverage, that if he, depending on his investment, might not even 2-hit KO. There's a very good chance that like the rest of his team does not really enjoy taking attacks from Weavile, really, because Icicle Crash is just so much with Life Orb. The speed is here to outspeed his fastest mon, which would be his Latias, or no, sorry, his Alolan Persian. But even though I don't think the Persian's gonna come, but I still got to be prepared for it. Plus the investment I already have allows for like the perfect Life Orb thing, like basically 11 hits with Life Orb instead of 10. But yeah, so that's Weavile. Again, pretty straightforward. Just 4 attacks with the best coverage that it needs for the match. I went with Poison Jab specifically because I originally had Ice Shard on here just in case I do need to pick stuff off, but then I could not touch the Alolan Ninetales at all, so went with Poison Jab instead. Next up, we have another kind of mid-game breaker, which is Scarf Darmanitan. I went with Fire Punch this time because even max attack Adamant Fire Punch it does a minimum of 100% to a max HP Mega Mawile. And while Sucker Punch is not an OHKO, obviously. But yeah, so if I could do that, I figured I might as well save the HP from Flare Blitz, especially if it's carrying Sub or something like that. But yeah, the speed is here to outspeed, without a Scarf, the Heatran, because he has a big speed gap from his Shaman at 100 and it goes all the way down to Heatran at 77. He has a really big speed gap. But yeah, other than that, U-turn for obvious like momentum purposes. Earthquake is here because his team doesn't really enjoy switching into ground attacks all that much. And then the superpower is here for yeah, the Piloswine mostly. Because of Thick Fat, Fire Punch will be doing an extreme amount. And then Alolan Persian as well, because since that gets is it Fur Coat? Whatever. His physical defense is actually quite good with the Alolan Persian. But even though I don't expect him to bring it, I have to prepare for everything. Might bite me in the ass like last week, but who knows. Next up, we have a very utility-heavy Whimsicott. Because he has the Shuckle, I am pretty much forced to bring Defog. It's not only just the Shuckle, actually the Ninetales as well, because Defog can get rid of his Aurora Veil. Like, just because of, not necessarily the Aurora Veil, but definitely because of the Shuckle with the chance of Sticky Webs, I'm basically forced to bring this with Defog. But other than that, U-turn for momentum just to see what his switch into this is, and then HP Ground, because otherwise Heatran is an absolute free switch into this, and then Tailwind. It's mostly just to set up like the late game stuff with the last 2 mons that you're about to see here. But yeah, once again, not really straightforward stuff, but some stuff that I know will be very useful, as this was a pretty big corner piece in almost all of my mocks that I had. So next up, we're bringing Life Orb Landers again, because why not? Like, this thing just breaks so many walls. The speed, obviously, on this is to outspeed his entire team, since his fastest mon is Alolan Persian. Next up, again, Life Orb Landers. Again, I expect Latias to be the check to this. I've seen multiple mocks where Latias offensively checks this. I've seen one where Latias defensively checks this. I've seen Slowking defensively check this without an Assault Vest, which I don't know how big of a fan I am, but I don't know how much that'll work considering Landers can carry knockoff. That was loud. I really hope you guys didn't hear that. But anyways, yeah, U-turn again for shenanigans. Like this team is very pivot heavy, and I'm very happy with that. I like pivot heavy games where I can scout what my opponent's switch-ins to this are. And then Rock Slide is here. For the Ninetales, kind of, but mostly for the Shuckle. With the Shuckle, if he's physically defensive, Earth Power does more, but if he's specially defensive, then Rock Slide does more. So basically, it's just here to, if he does bring Shuckle, I can use either one of these to fully break it down. And then also, if his, jeez, I can't talk today. If his Alolan Ninetales isn't Light Clay or Scarf or anything, if he's a Weakness Berry, basically, this is a roll to kill, this is a guaranteed kill, but if he has, like, if he does have the Kebia Berry for the Sludge Wave, then Rock Slide, it's a pretty high chance for me to kill with Rock Slide, so I'm willing to take the risk. But yeah, so basically, with the Ninetales, it basically means that, like, he can't have a berry to stop one of these attacks from OHKOing it, basically. And then, yeah, obviously this wrecks under Tailwind, and then with the Mawile, Sucker Punch again does not OHKO. Basically, like, that's the way to offensively check it. It would be better if I had a fighting type, but unfortunately, with the drops I had to make, I do not have a fighting type on my team. But anyways, lastly, we have another pretty big win condition. D-Dance Haxorus basically won me the game in one of my mocks. And then in another mock it was Landorus. But yeah, if I'm able to, like, if he does bring the Shuckle and leads with it, this is just setup water. Like, it's just setup water. Like, Shuckle can't do anything, Knockoff's not doing anything since I have the Z Crystal. The only thing really he could do is Toxic, but I won't need too many boosts plus the Z-Dragon to knock it out. I'd rather not use Z-Dragon to knock it out, because at +1, Z-Dragon is really important to take out the Shaman and the Slowking as well. I was originally Z Poison because of the Shaman, but then realized that, hey, Z-Dragon also knocks it out at +1, so might as well go with that. And once again, the speed here is to outspeed the Heatran, considering that's like the big speed gap that he has. But yeah, and then obviously Poison Jab, Earthquake to round out the coverage, this for the Ninetales, and this for the Heatran. And again, like, his team doesn't really appreciate switching into ground types. I originally had Unnerve on this, but then realized that Mold Breaker was fine, because again, his team does not like switching into ground types. With Mold Breaker on, his only ground type switch-in, like full ground type switch-in, is the Shaman, which gets bodied by +1 Poison Jab. But yeah, so that's the team. I'm really comfortable with how I built this week, and from the mocks, even though I didn't win all of them, I still felt really comfortable using this team, and I think we have a pretty good shot. So yeah, keep your eye on the channel tomorrow for when the battle goes live, and thanks for shit. I did it again. Please, Josh's link is in the description below. Please go check it out, as well as a link to all of the coaches in the GPC this season, so please go check that out. Okay, I finally remembered to do that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.